Friday, June the 11th, 2021. I am James. You are you. We are here. Welcome to the weekend. And may I say, from me, James Allen McGee, to you, the trusted audience, fan base, viewers, it feels like it's been a long time, doesn't it? Well, if you're feeling similarly to me, it's because it has been a long time. On Monday, you might remember that it was At Home with James with Dave. I was, of course, watching Vos Canadiens defeat the Winnipeg Jets in a clean sweep to advance to the third round of the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. Dave took my place. I was not in the driver's seat, as I and many NASCAR fanatics might say. Then on Wednesday, we had a show on tap that was ready to not only blow my mind, but the collective minds of anyone who was prepared to or has ever watched At Home live right here on Twitch. And then the unthinkable occurred. For the first time in over 250 episodes, dating back to March 2020, the 16th to be exact, when COVID was nothing more than a wee tot. The unthinkable occurred. We could not get this show live on the air. Multiple attempts. I even called in a second technician to help produce the show, put it back on the tracks to get us live and in living color, rolling down the information superhighway that the cool kids and all of the nerds from the mid-90s up until about 1998 called the internet. You know what happened? It was unsuccessful attempt after unsuccessful attempt after finally one last unsuccessful attempt. I had to tell all of my guests, guys, there's no dice. I want you to all go home. I want you to all get in bed, get nestled up, get yourself nice and cozy, get a good night's sleep. You know what I did? Shut my computer off, took a walk around St. Henry. I walked up and down the canal, and I sentenced myself to one night in shame jail. Disappointed, embarrassed, and ashamed for being unable to bring the modest fan base of this show our regularly scheduled programming. It wasn't my fault. It was a blooper and a blunder and a boner. That was no one's fault, but I took it as my own. And I thought to myself, you know what? It's time to drown yourself in sorrow. And the only way to do that is by going to get a Big Mac, using a coupon, maybe some fries, maybe upgrade to a poutine, as the Quebecers might say. I got to the door, closed. I thought, you know what? I'm going to go to Tim Hortons, get a Club Tim. Got to the door, closed. So you know what I did? I took my shameful and embarrassed derriere to Super C. 10 minutes before it closed, you know what I had for dinner? Box of Cheerios. I sat disappointed eating Cheerios, only to discover after I had finished my second bowl that my beard was covered in milk, like a common slob loser. But wallowing in defeat is not what James McGee does. It's not what the team who produces this show does. That's why we are back. The show is on the air. I think it's on the air. It must be on the air because the chat is up and running. I am up and running. You are up and running. And I'll tell you this, each and every guest who was supposed to be here on Wednesday, they said, you know what, little buddy, for you, a man who has so little, you don't have a job, you're not married, your choice of clothing is suspicious. I'm going to give up my Friday night just like I did my Wednesday night to give you and your little outfit a hand. And that's why tonight, each and every guest who was slated and scheduled and prepared to bring their best is back again tonight. On tonight's show, we've got some summer budget tips from the show's financial analyst, Andrew Big Daddy Louchuck. Why do you call him Big Daddy? This guy is the buffest business nerd you'll ever see. You're walking down the street, maybe it's Friday night, sun goes down, you're thinking, this guy's about to give me the business. Then you get a little bit closer. You see he's wearing a McGill tie. He's got a blazer that looks like he could tear off his muscular frame at any moment. You think, tell you what, this guy's not going to give me the business, but he might give me some business tips. How's that for some wordplay? This old fart has still got it. Also on tonight's show, Monika Schneider, Ariel DeRue. We, in a very timely manner, are going to be discussing one of, if not the greatest boy band of all time. These 5 youngsters, at one point anyways, so talented that none of them played an instrument. The closest thing to playing an instrument was miming violin in their iconic video for Step by Step. That's right. The girls and James will be discussing New Kids on the Block. But in addition to that, not only am I going to match what we had scheduled for Wednesday, I'm going to do one more. Now that the Canadians are on to the 3rd round of the playoffs, for the first time ever on this show, we are going to preview a playoff matchup as this coming Monday, Vos Canadiens will take on the Vegas Golden Knights. More on that later on. So why not? Let's all just take a breath. Maybe we take one more just to be sure. Let's get this show on the road. Let's welcome our first 2 guests, some of the coolest cats that you'll ever see on the beat. Let's welcome, some might say, a couple lover girls. It's Monika Schneider and Ariel.
What is that?
Monika, Ariel, it looks like you two have had a couple cocktails.
We're wasted.
Goosey, you're ready to go. First, Monika, you're always in a good mood. I've never seen you in a bad mood. How is your week treating you?
James, it's been great. And
been great.
You know, since Wednesday didn't happen, I've been just jumping at the bit for tonight's show.
Well, that's sweet of you to say. I appreciate that. Ariel, you're coming to us from what looks to be an Al Qaeda hideout lounge.
Yeah.
Ariel, how you doing?
That's accurate, James. Yeah.
Now, for the people watching on Twitch right now, you can't see and you can't hear what I hear. My little Al Qaeda joke, it crushed in our call. And when you're a guy like me who is desperate for laughter, is like a junkie getting their fix. Folks, we're not here to talk about what it's like to be a junkie, although in some ways we are here to talk about the New Kids on the Block, the pop group that took the world by storm in the late 80s, going into the early 90s. Ariel, let's begin with you. You are wearing a New Kids on the Block t-shirt. You put it back on, or you've been wearing it for 3 days.
I just have not taken it off, James.
Ariel, talk to us a little bit. Do you remember when you discovered NKOTB?
Yeah, I saw them on TV once, and I was like, I don't like them. They're gross. And then I went to my friend's house, and she played Hangin' Tough, and it was a little sexual awakening happening over there.
Okay, so now you said you heard Hangin' Tough, and you felt a, quote, sexual awakening.
As much as like a 9-year-old child could, yes.
Okay, it was that time in your life where you're like, hey, what's this feeling? I don't know what it is, but I've got it, and I think I like it.
Or just like these, I want to see these boys all the time.
Right. Now that is, I think, the perfect way to put it. You don't know what it is, but I want to see these boys all the time. Okay. Monika, let's go to you. Now, you dropped a huge bomb on us prior to Wednesday's show when you told us that you were not the biggest New Kids on the Block fan.
It's true, James. So in 8th grade, my friend Tanya Spreckley and Kelly Egan were huge fans.
And can I just say those are perfect teen girl names for the time. Can you repeat those names again?
Tanya Spreckley and Kelly Egan. Yeah, they're great gals. They loved them and had posters in their rooms. And I was a bit of a late bloomer. So I was like,
Yep.
oh, you know, maybe that's what I'm supposed to do. Okay, that seems kind of cool, you know, put up some posters. But I was kind of more doing it to fit in with those girls than because I really liked the band.
Yeah. You wanted to be part of the scene, but I'm sure that on some level you also enjoyed them at least a little bit.
I did. I was aware that these were 5, you know, guys that were cute and into the arts. Now,
of course, most people when they see the New Kids on the Block, they think these are 5 boys that are into the arts. Now, Monika, can I ask you, similarly to Ariel, did you feel like I want to be around these boys all the time?
Not really. I was like, I want to be around these 2 girls who like these boys and want to be around these boys.
Right. So yeah. So Tanya, correct? Tanya and Kelly.
Yeah. They were great. They were good friends. And with them, they got tickets to see them at the Sky Dome in Toronto, and their mom chaperoned. We went down on the train and it was a whole soiree. We stayed in the Sky Dome where we could look over into the concerts. And it was great.
So we're going to touch on concerts in just a little bit. Ariel, I have to ask you, now, did you have a crew of chums that also, now you mentioned your friend who exposed you to the Hangin' Tough video featuring the iconic line, "We're rough."
Yep.
Now, did you also have a New Kids crew?
Yes. I had a few friends, and one of my good friends, Arwen was her name. We would pretend that Arwen. I think she was named after Lord of the Rings.
I want to make an assumption here. Did Arwen have giant glasses?
She did.
Yeah, there you go. You can't have the name Arwen. Monika's hanging out with a Tanya and a Kelly. You're hanging out with an Arwen.
Love it.
Sounds like a brand of whiskey.
She was, no, she didn't have giant glasses.
Yeah. No. She's still with us, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. I was worried that I was maybe defaming someone that could have potentially passed away in some type of Degrassi junior high style accident.
Oh, she didn't have a major drug overdose.
All right.
Okay, but we pretended that we were the the New Kids' we worked at the manager's office. So I want to show you this, which I found.
Oh, so hold on here. You've got artifacts where
I've got artifacts.
Now you were 9 years old?
9.
And you played pretend. Of all the things to pretend, not that you were married to them or that you were their GFs, your fantasy was imagine working for their manager.
Yes. And not even being the manager, being like a admin assistant.
Right. Okay. So the admin assistant for famous manager, I believe, Maurice Starr.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. So this was addressed to Donnie. Okay. Mm-hmm. Which we even drew the little stamp in the corner.
Yeah, can you bring it close? It looks like you had difficulty with Wahlberg at the tail end there. The G is a little bit darker than the rest of the letters. Yeah. It looks like you spelled Wahlberg and then decided, oh no, we have to change this L to a G.
Yeah, well, we were new hires at the admin office.
Right, okay, yeah.
Here's the letter to Donnie.
Now, would you be so kind? Now, Monika, would you like to hear Ariel's 9-year-old letter to Donnie Wahlberg?
100%.
Great. Ariel, take it away.
All right. Dear Donnie, could you tell the other New Kids that you're getting double the pay of what I said for your Coke commercial? So instead of 5,000, you're getting 10,000 each, which is spelled in capitals.
Yeah.
Then it says yours truly, Pauline.
Wait, so your name wasn't even Ariel? In your fantasy, you're a woman named Pauline?
Yes. And look at Pauline's murderer signature.
Yeah, yours, it looks like you did. Now, what did you scribble out?
It's unclear. I don't know what's happening there.
Now, do you remember writing this?
Yes.
You vividly remember writing this. Okay.
Yeah. And we did all sorts of, I have another one to Kirk Cameron. We did this all the time.
Well, this is a bit of a Kirk Cameron free zone.
Yeah, just saying.
Yeah.
Now, I wrote one to Fred Savage, just putting it out there.
Okay, so this is a pro Fred Savage area. Now, look, we'll bring both of you back to talk about Degrassi as well as The Wonder Years, a show that is notorious for making me cry. I'm a person that has difficulty crying. That show does it. We'll get into that at a later date. Now, Monika, you were in high school at the time.
I was in grade 8.
You were in
So,
grade 8. Okay. Quebec lingo. We're talking high school. For you, that was junior high.
yeah, exactly.
Now, did you ever fantasize about spending time with the new kids on the block?
No,
I say the word fantasize in the most innocent of manners.
I didn't. I was more into like Jack Tripper from Three's Company.
Okay, so you were into a show that was popularized in the 70s.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were thinking about Jack Tripper,
Yeah.
who is currently deceased. Ariel, you were fantasizing about being an administrative assistant named Pauline.
Yeah.
Now, I want to circle back. Monika, you went and saw the New Kids on the Block perform at Toronto's famous Sky Dome.
Yeah.
What was that experience like for you as someone who is an admitted not a big fan?
I mean, it was fun. It was probably one of my first kind of trips without my parents that was in camp. And it was great. And it was just funny, you know. I felt like, again, like I said, I was a bit of a late bloomer. So I was, you know, and a bit preppy. So it was just interesting to me to observe this, like, I'm in my like polo button down and like corduroys, and every girl around me is in these super tight mini black dresses, hiked up in like huge makeup. And I'm like, why are they doing that? Like, I didn't get like girls trying to make themselves like whatever.
They were, I believe. Now, Ariel, you might be able to speak to this. To me, this is what I'm going to assume. They're dressing up so one of the 5 new kids can say, you're the one, you will be my Pauline. Ariel, confirm or deny?
Yeah, but maybe not Pauline.
Okay, not Pauline.
I think Pauline is maybe not in their age demographic.
All right, so Monika, dare I say you were going to this concert as a sophisticated young lady.
Thank you, yes.
Ariel, now we have spoken about this in the past. You, please, Monika, the floor is yours.
I just want to make it clear that I did have fun at the concert. Like,
sure, yeah.
I enjoyed the band. A girl in front of me asked me if I wanted to hold her Joe doll. Again, I was baffled.
What an interesting offer. Someone like, oh, that lady in the polo and corduroy doesn't have a Joey McIntyre doll. I'm going to ask her if she wants to hold it. Now, Ariel, you saw the New Kids at the famous Forum in Montreal.
The Magic Summer Tour.
The Magic Summer Tour. So can you tell us, was it a magical evening?
It was. The only thing was I went with my dad because he's the only one who could take me. So it was slightly embarrassing the whole night because like it was my first concert ever. Yeah. And I was like really into New Kids, as I mentioned, like sexually. And my dad was there with me. So.
Now, how come you didn't go with Arwen?
Because I think there wasn't a ticket. I don't know. I don't remember.
So I like this story. I know this story that I'm going to prompt you to tell. Ariel, can you talk about how your dad procured the tickets for you? Yeah, well, again, I've told you this, but I'm not clear on the details. But I just remember that one morning I woke up and there was a strange man in our house and he was showering. Yeah, which is the way that you want any story from an 8-year-old to start. Yes, but then I was later, it was explained to me that my dad worked with this guy and my dad worked the night shift. So he couldn't go. Where did your dad work? At the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. Got it. So he couldn't go sleep overnight, which is what you had to do back in the day to get concert tickets. So he paid his colleague to sleep overnight to get the tickets. Right. Because they went on sale in the morning. Now, did you ever thank this strange man that was showering? I don't think so. Now, Ariel, would you like to take the opportunity to finally thank him for doing this really nice favor on behalf of your dad? Thank you, strange man. What if we give him a name? How about we give him a name? Okay, let's call him Teddy. Teddy. Okay. Yeah, well, Teddy did a great thing. Yeah. As opposed to a bad thing, the way that story originally began, as it were to maybe sound. So you both had a great time at the concert. Ariel, were you able to have as much fun as you would have wanted, even though you were sitting with the old man? Oh yeah, no, I really did. Like I remember my dad was sitting down and everyone else got up on the chairs and like it was the best. And I told you this, but if I will ever find my diary entry from that concert, it's very funny. Now, did you describing Jordan's outfit? Yeah. Can I ask you, Monika, how good were your seats?
Great. We were, on the floor.
Yeah.
So there was no risers.
Sure.
And, you know, they were maybe this big.
Yeah.
On the
Stadium is
stage, so
difficult.
that's
Seeing a
about how
concert
far
in
we
a
were.
stadium is not easy.
Yeah.
Now, Ariel, at the Montreal Forum, how were your tickets? How'd Teddy do?
Very similar to Monika. Like on the floor, not like halfway back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, we've gotten our pleasantries out of the way. Before we really kick it into high gear with something that I want to surprise both of you with, Ariel, do you have any other artifacts that you've unearthed?
Yeah, I have. This was a poster we made
Oh my God.
for
Okay.
new kids who are coming to Japan. We were very excited. At the bottom, we said yay.
Yeah.
And then this is like creepy, actually. It's
Okay.
each new kid, and it's the name of their family members, which I don't know why we had this.
Now, Ariel, your fandom is very weird and specific,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
You might have to come on and talk about your fandom of other things that
Oh, I
find
can.
to be a little peculiar.
Yeah, or
But-
creepy. Yeah.
Yeah, but let's also acknowledge that you're wearing a shirt that is older than some of the guests on tonight's show.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
Now, look, it might come as a surprise. Young James, also a fan of the New Kids on the Block. I have very little recollection of it, but enough to remember listening to and enjoying their music, because what's not to enjoy? It's poppy, it's upbeat, it's very catchy, easy to sing along to, and the lyrics have almost little to no substance.
I have to say, I loved their dance moves as well.
Mhm.
Look,
That really got me.
who doesn't? A very interesting person once told me after asking the question that I asked, which was, I wonder why there's so many long pauses in their songs. This person said, because it gives us time to look at their bodies, and that person is Ariel Daru. Now, it's now time for a surprise. I would like to take both of you through a 3-tiered New Kids on the Block trivia challenge with a grand prize going to the winner. Monika, Ariel, would you like to take this challenge on?
Mhm.
Yes.
All right, here we go. As I mentioned, there are 3 tiers to this trivia challenge. The first tier is a multiple choice question, and the category is called Finish the Lyrics.
Oh God.
Now, I held a coin toss prior to the show. Ariel, you represented heads. Monika, you represented tails. And Ariel, you won the
Uh-oh.
coin toss. So you have the choice to either begin or go second. What would you like to do?
Begin.
Begin. Great. So I'm going to give you some lyrics from a verse of a New Kids on the Block song, and you have 3 options to finish the lyrics. Ariel, here's your question. The lyrics go as follows. Listen up, everybody, if you want to take a chance.
Mhm.
Just get on the floor and do the New Kids dance. Don't worry about nothing, because it won't take long. Now you're going to finish the lyric, and your options are, number 1, because our music's going to last even after we are gone. Your second choice is, we're going to put you in a trance with a funky song. And your third option is, so take a hit of this bong like your Cheech and Tommy Chong. 1, 2, or 3?
I think it's 2, no?
Is that what you'd like to settle on?
Yes, 2.
Ariel, you are correct.
Yay!
The lyric is, we're going to put you in a trance with a funky song. Great.
It's hanging tough, no?
Are you, what's that now?
It's hanging tough, isn't it?
That is correct.
All
I
right.
remember
Yeah,
that.
It's perfect because that was the song that awoken your 8-year-old feelings.
It's happening again, James.
Monika, well, let's take it down a notch, Ariel. Monika, are you ready for your lyrics?
My God, I'm ready.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Your first kiss was a sweet kiss. Second kiss had a twist. Third and your fourth kiss. Now your options to finish the lyrics are 1, I don't want to miss.
That's it.
2, are absolutely bliss. Or 3, make me need to piss.
I wish it was 3, but it's 1, baby. It's 1.
It's
Is that your
3.
Is that your final answer, Monika?
Final answer.
Monika, you are correct.
Woo!
You now have 1 point apiece. We're going to move on to our next
On
category.
Monica.
This is called
Twist. Yeah.
Face the Truth, which is wordplay on their failure 1994 album, Face the Music.
Ooh.
Now, Monika, since you got the last question right, you have the choice to either begin this round or go second again. Which would you like to pick?
Why not?
You're going to begin. Here we go. Monika, your question is this. Which of these songs do not appear on 1989's Merry Merry Christmas, the New Kids on the Block Christmas album? Your options are Funky Funky Xmas, This One's for the Children, Your Christmas Kiss, or I Still Believe in Santa Claus. Which of these does not appear? Once again, your choices are
Yeah.
Funky Funky Xmas,
Yeah.
This One's for the Children, Your Christmas Kiss, or I Still Believe in Santa Claus.
I think it's one of the last two. So
Okay.
I'm gonna go with I Still Believe in Santa Claus.
Monika,
Yeah.
you are incorrect.
Oh,
The answer is Your Christmas Kiss.
it was that or the other. And it
In
was
your defense, all of these songs could have been made up song titles by me. So right now, we're
I
gonna
do
see-
remember though, this one's
For
for
the children.
I remember
Well,
that.
despite the fact that you're competing with each other, that harmonizing together is beautiful. Ariel, you have a chance to go up 2-1. Are you ready for your
Yes.
true or false question?
Oh, yes.
Here we go. Which of the following New Kids did not have a rat tail?
Ooh,
Choices are
the
Donnie,
worst one.
Donnie, Danny, Joey, Jordan, or Jonathan. And I'm going to let you know that multiple New Kids did not have rat tails, but I'm not going to tell you how many. I will say that more had them than they didn't.
Right.
I don't think John ever had a rat tail.
Ariel, that is one of the correct answers.
Oh, how many do I have to answer? Keep going?
Yep. Oh, wait, I'm being told something. You're 50% the way there.
Oh,
So your options are Donnie, Danny, Joey, and Jordan.
Joey for sure had one. I think Jordan had one. Oh, okay. I'm going to say Danny.
Ariel, the correct answer was Joey.
He never had one?
Never
Wow.
rat tail. So unfortunately, you do not get partial points. We are now tied going into the third and final round. Now, Ariel, since you got that question incorrect,
Mhm.
you can either begin this final round or go second.
I'll go second.
This final round is called Please Don't Go Girl.
Oh, please.
Great
don't
song.
go girl.
I wish there was some validity to this, but there is no reason. This is the final round where you will be given no multiple choice.
Oh, God. All right.
Now, Ariel, let's begin.
Oh, wait.
As
Is it me or Ariel? Monika.
Oh, it's Monika. My apologies, Monika. Let's begin. As an opening act, the New Kids on the Block found success as a lead-in for this teen pop star shortly before taking their spot as the headlining attraction.
Oh, right. There's no multiple choice.
There's no multiple choice. There's no multiple choice.
Okay, so they
But I will
opened-
tell you this. I will
Yeah.
tell you this. I've just been told by producers that you can accept multiple choice, but in the chance that you get the answer correct, you will only be rewarded with a half point.
Can I steal?
Oh my God, wait. Can you just say the question again?
Once again, as an opening act, the New Kids on the Block found success as a lead-in for this teen pop star shortly before taking their spot as the headlining attraction.
I'm just going to wing it and say Tiffany.
Monika, you are correct.
Oh my God, I can't believe I got that.
I missed it. My thing froze. What'd she say?
The correct answer is Tiffany.
Oh, okay.
I can't believe I got that.
So, Monika, you are now up
2 points to Ariel's 1 point. Ariel, are you ready for?
Running just as fast as we can.
No, I'm getting. Hold on. I'm getting word from a producer. Monika, unfortunately, you don't receive any additional points for singing the Tiffany hit single, I Think We're Alone Now. Ariel, here's your final question. Which are the famous 5 steps from the 1990 smash hit Step by Step?
That's hard.
Once again, you do not have multiple choice. You can accept it and get half a point, but that will still not be enough to beat Monika's 2 points. Now, remember, Ariel, there's a lot riding on the line since you were the one who fantasized about being Pauline, their administrative assistant.
I think I know the answer.
Okay,
by the way. I can't believe
we
I
can
know.
have lots of fun.
Now,
Yeah.
step 1.
We can have lots of fun.
That's correct. Step 2.
There's so much we can do.
Step 3.
If you want to phone a
It's
friend,
just you and me.
Step 4.
I can give you more.
Step 5.
Don't you know that the time is alive? Hooah, hooah, hooah. Right?
Ariel, you blew that out of
Now, Ariel,
Yeah.
you were so close,
No, it's not right.
but you got the final word wrong. The lyric is, don't you know that the time has arrived
Oh,
and not alive? Because, of course, time cannot be alive. Monika, you have won the New Kids on the Block Trivia Challenge.
I can't believe it. I
Now,
couldn't have done it without Ariel. That's all I have to say.
Monika, you are the winner of a grand prize. Are you ready to hear what this grand prize is?
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
I have to tell you, this is a prize that other people on this show have received. Monika, your grand prize is that you get to buy me a cup of coffee.
oh.
Now, Ariel, since you did such a great job, there is a consolation prize for you. You also get to buy me a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Monika and Ariel, this for me was a real hoot and a holler. We may have to come together again one day to discuss and reminisce about something that Ariel loved and Monika enjoyed, and then finish it all off with some trivia. Any final words to the New Kids on the Block fans out there from either of you?
Oh my God. Who knew Donnie's brother would become a star?
Who knew that Donnie's brother would become a star? Ariel, any thoughts from you?
I just hope they're still thinking of me.
I hope that they're also thinking of you as well as your friend Arwen. Monika and Ariel, thanks so much for being here and have a good weekend, okay?
Thank you.
There you have it, folks. The segment that they never thought was going to happen. When I say they, I mean the internet hackers that may have destroyed Wednesday's stream from going live. Well, how do you like me now? Let's switch gears from something fun to something less fun. He's been on this show before. He's a man of great knowledge as it pertains to your money and finances. Let's welcome the man who's going to tell us all how to spend wisely and also save wisely this summer. It is Andrew Big Daddy Louchuck. Lou,
wow,
how's it going?
It's going great. Thank you once again for having me on the show. I always enjoy our conversations. I always enjoy having the opportunity to touch some of your fans.
Yeah, well, you've been known to touch a lot of our fans on the show, right?
Yes, of course. I mean, I really hope that the knowledge that I'm sharing with your fans is great for them.
Now, would you say that you've maybe touched them in ways they haven't been touched before?
I mean, I think you probably have a lot of young fans. Maybe they haven't been up on, financial management, financial advice.
Yeah.
So I think I probably have touched them in ways that they've never been.
Right. So you're
before.
saying that you take a lot of joy in touching young people.
Yeah, of course. I really think it's important that we teach our youth, how to be, financially responsible.
Right. And no, there's no better person to teach the youth a lesson than you, I would say.
Well, if you say so. I mean, I wouldn't give myself that credit. I'm still learning how to teach, and I'm growing, as a person.
So you're saying that in the midst of touching the young people, they could stand to teach you something too. So in a lot of ways, maybe young people could touch you as well.
Yeah, for sure. I'm
Right.
always open to new learning and new ways of being touched. Yeah.
But now there's also a lot of older people that you've probably touched at the same time too.
I would probably say so. Yeah. I mean,
Right.
depends on the demographics of your audience, but also, the people that I've been teaching, in my
Yeah.
own practice. So
Yeah.
yeah, they tend to vary in age. So of
Yeah.
course,
So for
yeah.
you, there's no age limit to who you can touch.
I don't think so. No, I wouldn't put one on that. Yeah.
All right. Well,
Oh, thank you.
I'd also like to point out we have a live studio audience tonight. We've upped the ante since Wednesday's episode was not able to happen. Now, Lou, you're here to talk to us about summer spending. Now, as we all know,
Yes.
that COVID numbers are dropping. People are very much looking forward to leaving their houses. We were locked in the
Of
winter.
course.
It's going to be a time where people are going to be spending, but potentially spending frivolously. What do you think about what's
Yeah.
going to be taking place this summer and how people can save a dollar?
Well, listen, summertime is a time when people tend to let loose. They tend to try to get out there after maybe spending a long winter inside.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, that doesn't mean that you have to, as you were saying, spend frivolously, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you have every opportunity, and if you make a plan and you set yourself up for success, you can save all throughout the summer. So one of the things that I happen to do is I have a significant other,
Mm-hmm.
and she really enjoys getting ice cream, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you've been to an ice cream parlor recently, but you walk in there and you stand in line, and maybe you walk out of there about $10, $15 lighter in your wallet,
Right.
right?
Now we can agree that ice cream is a classic summer treat, right? No one's going to
Of
argue that.
course. No, exactly. And I'm not saying that you should deprive yourself of ice cream,
Mm-hmm.
but here's what I'm going to tell you. If you have a plan, here's that plan, okay? Earlier in the day, you head out to the grocery store, okay? You get yourself some ice cream. Hopefully it's on sale.
Mm-hmm.
All the major grocery stores, they tend to have sales on ice cream depending on the week. You check the flyers, you find out the one that you want, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You get that ice cream, you bring it back to the freezer, okay? Then here's what
And
you
now it's
do.
important to bring it to the freezer, right? Not the fridge.
Of course, because if you don't put it in the freezer, it's gonna melt, right?
It's going to melt, and then you've also wasted money.
Of course, yes. That's a double whammy. So what you do is you go for a walk, okay, with your significant other, your sweetheart. It could be, someone that you recently met, or maybe someone you've been with for a while. So now take a walk around the block, right? Then line up outside your house,
Mm.
right? And then just wait there outside of your door, just standing in line. Because part of I think the appeal of going to the ice cream shop is
Yeah.
that standing in line.
It's
So
the experience, right? The
right, you
anticipation.
chit chat, with your partner. You get a chance to maybe like see and be seen, right?
Mhm.
Do a little people watching potentially. Maybe
Yeah.
that's something you're into.
Yeah.
So you do that, stand outside your door for about 15 minutes. If you live on a crowded street, even better, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then go into your house, fix yourself up some ice cream. Bada boom, bada bing. You saved yourself probably like $10.
Yeah. Yeah. If not more. Yeah.
If not more. That's right.
Now,
And you got that nice walk in there, right?
yeah.
So staying healthy,
You got some
right?
exercise at the same time too. Now it's an
Right.
interesting point you bring up. So for people that might need a recap, instead of waiting outside in a line, right?
Mhm.
An arduous line at that, outside of a popular ice cream parlor where a cone, maybe 2 scoops at least, runs you anywhere from $5 to $7. You're saying buy the ice cream earlier in the day on sale, stand outside of your own home for 15 minutes, go inside, eat your own ice cream. Now, I
Yeah.
was going to ask you, what about if your main squeeze wants the full experience and you've managed to figure out the full experience?
Okay. So you're saying that your main squeeze won't allow you to stand outside your own home and eat your
Okay,
own
yeah,
ice cream.
what would happen there?
Okay. So in that case, right, um, you have to have a conversation, a serious conversation, a sit down, right? You got to talk about what is your financial plan together, right? What are your
Right.
financial goals? What are you trying to achieve with one another,
Mhm.
And if your partner says, well, I'm I'm about that real ice cream parlor life, right? Then you have to have that serious discussion and decide
Mhm.
whether or not you can, fit that into your budget. And if you can,
Yeah.
what I recommend doing is searching online for coupons.
Hmm.
Okay, looking around to see if there's any special deals going on.
Right.
Recently, I don't want to plug any a company, but I signed up for a free application that was offering free pizza slices.
Right.
So, there's all sorts of these deals going on the internets.
Well,
So,
can I ask you a question now? What if this conversation with your significant other doesn't go well, and they decide that they would perhaps give you an ultimatum of, well, being with me, part of that is going to get ice cream. Now, do you think there is a financial benefit to ending the relationship? So perhaps in the case that you maybe find yourself in line having ice cream, instead of buying two ice creams, you're only buying one, saving maybe $7. Is there a benefit to breaking up?
well, clearly in that situation, if your financial goals are not aligned, then
Right.
breaking up would be the best course of action, right? Because you're saving yourself a lot of headaches and heartache down the line, right?
Right. So basically, if the crowd is soundly on your side now, again, this is you're not breaking up because of ice cream. It's about your financial goals aligning, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes,
Now, these are really good ice cream tips. What else goes on in the summer where people might find themselves being a little bit too frivolous with their spending?
Well, okay. One other type of situation that you often get yourself into is you want to go to the beach, right? Because
Hmm.
it's the summer. Okay.
Yeah.
So key thing about the beach, right, is they always make you pay for parking.
Mm.
Okay. So what you got to do in that situation is you got to find a way to park maybe a little bit further away from the beach. And
Hmm.
then you just add in some additional exercise for your day by just walking further to the beach.
Yeah.
Potentially, you could knock on the door of a neighbor who is in the area, the vicinity of the beach park
Hmm.
that you're trying to go to.
Okay.
Maybe see if you can use their driveway,
Hmm.
just for the day while you go to the
Yeah.
beach. Just maybe get a little chit chat going.
Yeah.
Save yourself quite a few bucks on that.
Well, and you
Uh,
know what? I think this is a great idea for you for a couple of reasons. Not only you're saving the money on parking, but what do we know about the beach is that the beach is populated with a lot of people, both young and old. So if there were some young people there who you'd like to touch, you have a great advantage there in order to pass the gospel, right? They're thinking about it.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've never thought about maybe offering some classes on the beach,
Yeah.
to potentially help some young people learn
Yeah.
about being
Mhm.
financially responsible. So yeah, that would be potentially a good way to touch some people. Yeah.
Mhm. All right. So what else can save you some money in the summer?
Okay. Well, one of the other big things that's going to end up happening to you in the summer is going to be the summertime drinking, right?
Right. Okay. Now,
Going
this
on
is
to
one of
the.
these things that doesn't appeal to me, as you and I, and
Mhm.
everyone knows, I'm not a drinker. I'm more of a
No.
thinker, if you catch my drift.
Yes, of course.
'Cause when
Yes.
you're doing thinking, you're probably not drinking, and if you're doing some drinking, you're definitely not thinking.
Definitely not.
All
So
right.
in those cases, so what I would really recommend doing, and this is a long-term plan, right?
Hmm.
So this is one that is a little bit more challenging for I think
Hmm.
the majority of people. But one great way of saving some money is never actually going to any bars or restaurants in the summer, and
Right.
always just going for drinks in parks, right?
Okay.
So in Montreal, we have a great opportunity. You can actually drink in parks if you bring a picnic, right?
Hmm.
So make your dinner at home. Get your beer or drinks at the grocery store, on sale, hopefully,
Hmm.
and then you just bring that out to the park. You're sitting pretty, saving money.
Now, I'd like now I'd like to think that I've learned a thing or two over you from the years of our friendship. Now, I'd like to maybe take the opportunity to add on to that scenario where you'd end up not only saving money but making a little bit of money back.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Now,
Collecting
yeah,
cans.
yeah. Now, when you go to the bar, you don't get to take the cans with you. But if you're in the park, not only can you return your cans, but there's a lot of, let's say, slobs that leave their rubbish in the park. So you could collect these wine bottles,
Yeah,
cans,
of
whether
course.
they're alcohol based or soda. You return those
Yeah.
cans, and the fact that you're picking up other people's garbage, you're then turning a profit.
That is 100% accurate. That's a
Yeah.
great idea. I see maybe a little bit of my knowledge is finally rubbing off on you. I think I've touched you, James.
Yeah. Well, I would go out on a limb and say that you touched me a number of times.
Oh, well, I'm happy to hear that.
And
I'm
look,
really,
when it comes to learning, sometimes someone touching you can be very uncomfortable. And I would go as far to say that there's been times when I have been uncomfortable with you touching me because you've touched me in a variety of ways. But at a
well,
certain point, you have to understand that it's for your best, right? If the intentions are good, then being touched can be a great thing.
yes, I agree. Sometimes learning is especially learning something that you are not fully familiar with, right? It could be a growth experience,
Mhm.
but that
Well, I would say that
experience.
you've definitely been responsible for some growth on my part.
Well, I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah.
I'm really happy that my touch has grown you.
Yes, it has. Now, there's something coming in from the chat right now. This is an interesting. This is a statement, but I'm curious to get your opinion on it. Coming in from
Sure.
Naive Adventures,
Hmm.
quote, "It seems like both of you might benefit by dating a sugar mama." Now, do you see any financial benefit to dating a sugar mama?
Um, now I'm not familiar with the parlance on this. So a sugar mama is what exactly?
Yeah, so basically, a sugar mama is commonly a woman who is wealthy and
Mm,
you're seemingly being paid to date them. They spoil you with gifts and money, right?
right. Yeah. Well, I mean, that sounds like a fiscally responsible
Right.
choice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
And you'd probably save money because they would pay for ice cream.
yeah, definitely. I mean, if they
Yeah.
had the funds to do that, that could be of great benefit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would not be opposed, especially, earlier in our conversations when I've been on the show. We were talking about ways that you can make money, right?
Mhm.
And I mentioned potentially how you could start to smoke cigarettes on the show
Yeah.
and get sponsorship, right?
Yeah. And then I could claim my cigarette purchases
On your
as
taxes.
yeah,
Yes.
as a deductible because it would be for
Right.
performance.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, this would be something similar. Maybe you could seek out one of these lovely ladies who would be interested in supporting you.
So you're saying it would be financial? Well, okay. Well, it is salacious, right? You are advising me to begin some type of courtship with a sugar mama.
Yeah, I mean, like as long as you and the person that you're having this relationship with are responsible and you've had your conversations about it and you're both consenting adults, I don't see the problem with it.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. Now, as we begin to wind down, do you have any final tips or tricks for people to save a couple bucks over the next few months? Because things are probably going to get a little buck wild.
Oh, I think the important thing to remember, right, is that you have more than just this summer to think about, right? You have your
Mm,
entire future, and that future is going to require you to have some funds, right?
right.
So if you could maybe think about spending some of your time saving, right?
Mm,
Potentially getting like a part-time job, a sugar mama, as we
yep.
mentioned, that could be a great opportunity. Collecting cans,
Yep.
right? So that's another great tip,
Mhm.
I think. And I think also like think about maybe trying to sell some of your services. Try to
Mm,
sell yourself, really.
right. Yeah.
I think that's a great opportunity to make a little bit of extra money, and that could
Right.
help, balance your budget, and make your summer all that much more enjoyable, right?
Look, I don't know what we would do on this show without your help. Not only do I feel touched in ways that you've never touched me, but I'm sure everyone watching right now feels touched.
Well, I'm glad that I'm touching so many people, and I'm very happy that I'm able to share this great advice with all of you.
Right. Well, Lou, thanks so much for being here, and we'll have to check in the summer to see how people are doing with their budgeting and their saving.
Oh, I'm happy to do that, and good luck to everybody. And remember, if you go to the grocery store, make sure you check for coupons.
There you go. If you go to the grocery store, make sure that you're checking for coupons. Lou, thanks so much for being here, and have a profitable and frugal summer.
Thank you.
That is Andrew Louchuck. Well, thank God that clip was under 10 seconds. Otherwise, this episode would have been scrubbed for copyright infringement. There you have it, folks. If you're looking to save some money, because I know what my plan is. I'm not going to buy anything that isn't on sale ice cream. I'm going to try to collect cans in the park. I'm going to date a sugar mama, and I'm going to sell myself. And last but certainly not least, I'm going to look for some coupons. Let's move on to our third and final segment tonight. I mentioned it off the top. We are doubling down on everything that we missed on Wednesday. But in addition to that, I've added a segment. For the first time ever, we are about to preview the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs on the horizon. The Montreal Canadiens taking on the Vegas Golden Knights in the third round of the playoffs. We are only one stage away from the Stanley Cup final, and we're going to check in with two people that are going to help break this series down. Joining us is Montreal's very own, as well as producer of this show, it's Dimitri Kyres, and coming to us via satellite by way of Las Vegas, Nevada, we have got minority owner of the Vegas Golden Knights, Bill Foley Jr. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Happy to be here, James. Right here from the offices. It's hockey.
Oh, Dimitri, I just want a quick question here. You're coming to us from the offices right now?
That's right. Coming all the way from the At Home with James sports offices, James. And boys are busy here. Papers flying out of the copy machines, and the phones are ringing off the hook. It's an exciting time to be a fan.
It certainly is. I knew you said you were working on some redecorating. I thought you were talking about maybe a plant or a goldfish, but I see that you've really dipped into the subscriber funds here, but we'll save that for another occasion. Again, we've got Bill Foley Jr., minority owner. Your dad is the primary owner of the Knights. Mr. Foley, welcome to the show for the first time.
Well, how you doing there, James? Thank you so much for having me on your program tonight. I'm very excited to be talking about my very own Vegas Golden Knights, one of the best hockey teams to ever grace the NHL. So happy to be here.
Well, I appreciate you being here. It looks like a beautiful day in Nevada right now. So, Mr. Foley, we're going to begin with you. Last night, your Golden Knights victorious over the Colorado Avalanche, 4 straight wins. How do you like your chances going into this third round against the Canadiens?
James, let me just tell you, this city, I've never seen this city so lit up, okay? And it's not just because it's daytime here, because we are mountain time over here. But, James, let me tell you, I grew up on a small ranch. All right, James. And when my father bought this team and said, little Bill, do you want to go and take these Golden Knights to a golden victory? I said, Pa, I would love to. And James, when I walked into that stadium, I'll tell you this much. I ain't never even seen what they've been sliding on before. Okay, here in Vegas, we put that in our Long Island iced teas, James.
You're talking about ice.
Is that what you call it?
That's what everyone calls it.
Well, then, James, call me a fan, okay? And that is exactly why I'm so excited for Vegas to be going all the way to the end, baby. We're going to get that big old dog bowl. I'm going to have one of my large Dalmatian sons be eating out of it by the end of this month. Let me tell you that much.
Okay, well, great. Once again, let the record show the question was, how do you like their chances against the Canadiens? Not sure what that was. Dimitri, we're going to flip over to you. You are on the Montreal side of things, very similarly to me. Of course, Dimitri, earlier this week, the Canadiens clean sweep over the Winnipeg Jets. How do you feel going in once again for another series as the underdog? How do you like the Canadiens' chances?
Merci, James. Well, it's hard to believe that only a few short weeks ago, the Montreal Canadiens were entering a David and Goliath story that not many would think they would come out of alive. And here we are, just a few short weeks later, they've defeated the Toronto Maple Leafs and have swept the Winnipeg Jets. And now they find themselves in another dogfight. And we ask ourselves now as analysts, do we truly know anything about hockey? And this analyst is truly asking himself, I think I do. And I think I have underestimated the Montreal Canadiens. Consider this analyst 100% on board this Montreal train. Choo-choo, James. It's looking great for the Montreal Canadiens right now.
James, I don't mean to interrupt your segment here, but I just want to say this little.
Well, you can't interrupt the segment that you're in.
This little Timothy Chalamet little guy who's tripping up on his words. I don't appreciate his tone and how he's talking about the Golden Knights. Let me tell you that I do not appreciate.
I just want to interject here and confirm that Dimitri didn't say anything about the Golden Knights. He was singing the praises of the Montreal Canadiens, how it's a storybook run. On the topic of stories going into this upcoming series, of course, one of the Vegas Golden Knights top players, Max Pacioretty, former captain for the Montreal Canadiens. He's on fire this season. He's doing very good things for your team, Mr. Foley. How do you like this storyline going into the third round?
I mean, James, I love it. Old Patchy. He works down by the Taj Mahal, the Trump Taj Mahal, and he does a great Jack Sparrow, let me tell you that. But I knew him before he even got into the Jack Sparrow impersonation. Let me tell you, he was making kids laugh and just light up with his pirate antics. He would have a parrot on his shoulder, James. It was one of the funniest things. You had to be there. So, James, I'm really happy about it. But I really want to reiterate that I do not appreciate this little child's tone that you have on the screen with me. And
well,
if I
just want to circle something you said. You said Max Pacioretty plays Captain Jack Sparrow from the Pirates of the Caribbean series. One of your.
We're talking about Patchy.
Yeah, as you put it, Old Patchy.
Old Patchy, yeah. He's got the crooked eyebrow and the loose tooth that pops out, and then he squirts water through it, and the kids love it.
All right, Dimitri, I want to send things back over to you. The at-home sports studio. Max Pacioretty, former captain. Multiple 30-plus goal seasons. This is a big story going into this upcoming series.
Absolutely, James. Max Pacioretty, of course, beloved captain of the Montreal Canadiens of years past, now finds himself on the other side of the court facing down some of his old friends. Now, of course, interestingly, this was a trade that worked out for both teams. Pacioretty is doing very well with the Golden Knights, but also Nick Suzuki, who was also part of that package deal with Thomas Tatar and a second-round pick, being Matthias Nordlander, is also doing very, very well with the Montreal Canadiens. So it is going to be an interesting matchup. I think Max Pacioretty, has a lot to fight for here and a lot to prove.
James, I don't mean to interrupt, okay? But I'm just quite upset by this little man's tone. And let me mention this. I don't know very much about your fancy your big city sports and your hockey terms, okay? But I do know it's not called a court, okay? I do know that. Am I right, James?
It was a metaphor, so to speak.
All right, well, gentlemen, let's just calm down here. Let's calm down. I would like
we own guns in Vegas.
Mr. Foley, Foley, we're not here to talk about guns, so let's just put them in the holster for a second. One advantage that the Knights might have over the Canadiens is the fact that you are at full capacity in your arenas right now. In Montreal, our capacity is 2,500 out of 21,000 plus. Do you think a full arena is going to play a factor in the series, Mr. Foley? Once again, let's just refrain from any gun-related threats.
Of course, James, I apologize for that. James, we get a little heated up here in Nevada. You know, I'm just a good, simple Nevada farmer. James, people are having such fun at these games. We're so happy to be wide open, and we are just flooding in tourists all the way from my very own casino I own right next to the stadium. Sure. I actually opened a casino. Did you not see this? The White Knight. It's a beautiful new casino where we do not
called the White Knight.
The White Knight, and we do not allow mansplaining inside the casino floor. All the pit bosses will throw you out if you show any sort of rude behavior to women.
Yeah, but
and they're just pouring in.
Sorry, I want to keep you back on track here, Mr. Foley. What does that have to do with the question that I asked about? Do you think having a full arena will affect the series?
Well, James, look, I'm stress eating this toothpick because I'm just thinking about all of the amazing fans in that stadium that paid over $87 to have a delicious lobster and crab ratatouille themed buffet at the White Knight. They come walking over with a full tummy. They just saw Celine Dion jump through a ring of fire, and they want to see us win a cup. So I think the answer to that question, James, is yes.
All right, perfect. You finally answered one of the questions. Dimitri, let's go to you. Do you think the crowd is going to be a factor in the upcoming third round?
Absolutely. James, of course, these players have been without a crowd for coming up on a year and a half now. They are starved for that entertainment, and they feed off of an audience. Don't get me wrong. When they hear that yelling, that ole, 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 it gets the Canadians' engines revving. I think an audience is going to be huge. I think Vegas definitely gets the tilt in this aspect, but don't count the Bell Center out quite yet. Just like don't count the Montreal Canadiens out yet. The Bell Center has a way of surprising you, just like the ghosts of the past, James.
Great. Mr. Foley.
Okay, James.
You seem offended again, Mr. Foley.
I'm sorry, but that just got personal. He's bringing up county now. He knows that I never learned how to do it on the farm.
I had no idea,
he's bringing
sir.
up ole, ole. Are you referring to the cheap brand of shampoo that I buy for my curls? Okay, listen, little man. If I was there in Montreal, I could take the Golden Knights sky train across the old Mississippi Delta.
Mr.
Get
Foley,
over
I
on
have
over
no
there,
idea.
and I will teach you a lesson about sports announcing.
You use, Mr. Foley.
Mr. Foley, yeah, I want to just let's just try to refrain from threats. You don't have to.
I'm sorry,
threat anything.
I'm sorry. We get really. It's really hot here.
Yeah, I'm familiar. You're sweating profusely. Dimitri, I want to go back to you now. Of course, we are rooting for our own home teams. That's fair. Certainly, Mr. Foley, you're a minority owner. Dimitri, you are a hometown analyst. But I would like to ask you a question in terms of diplomacy. What types of advantages do you think the Golden Knights have going into the series against the Canadiens? You just mentioned the crowd. What else?
James, to put it simply, the Vegas Knights are mean. They are a big, mean, strong team. They like to chirp on the bench, and they like to really get under the skin of the opposing players. They play that forecheck hard, and boy, do they get those chances. And don't get me wrong, this isn't a team of goons. They have skill on their side. Jonathan Marchessault and Max Pacioretty, as mentioned before, are some of their best players. And let's just say they also got guys like Ryan Reeves. Let's just say these guys are going to put the muscle in the Montreal Canadiens, so they best be careful about what they're dealing with here.
Now you're finally speaking my language.
Yeah, Mr. Foley, let's circle back to you now. Is there anything about the Montreal Canadiens that puts you on the edge of your seat in terms of success for your team in the series?
I just want to say I appreciate the last segment, what you just said there, little guy, because I do think the Golden Knights are the toughest team. We have a saying down here in Nevada: if it doesn't grow through dust, it goes to the auction, and that's exactly what I think is going to happen in this series, James. Listen, James, let me tell you one thing, okay? The Montreal Canadiens, okay. They speak a whole other language. Literally, I've heard it, and I couldn't really understand what they were saying when I was watching on one of your French language television channels. It was some sort of. I've heard Celine say some weird words before, but I thought this was a little too much.
Yeah, let's get on with it, Mr. Foley.
Oh, sorry, James.
I think Mr.
I get a little lost.
To the French language, just to jump in here.
That's what I believe. Yeah.
Right. Well, James, let me tell you one thing, okay?
Yeah.
I don't know about forechecks. I got mine removed at a very young age.
Sure.
But I do know that I think that I know you're a fan, okay? I know you're a fan of Montreal, Canada. You're from Montreal, Canada, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct.
Well, James, we got a lot of money here in Vegas. I'll tell you that much. And a lot of money that we can put into some maybe a local Twitch talk show.
Mr. Foley, the question was,
you know what I mean?
Mr.
If you know what I mean.
Answering the questions. I'm sorry to
I'm
interrupt.
not answering your question.
Foley is not answering any of the questions right now.
You can take that mic and I'm going to shove it all the way up your
I try not to take this personally, but Mr. Foley, I'm just like, this is an honest program, and we're here for, you know what I mean? If you have something to say about the team, we might as well just get on to it.
Let's all just relax. We're not here to threaten each other with violence. Obviously,
he's threatening me.
Our hometown.
He's threatening me.
I'm threatening you. How dare you, sir?
No, I've
been doing this for 15 years. I've been an analyst.
He said, Mr. Kyres. Mr. Kyres, you sit down.
Kyres, sir, Mr. Foley.
You come to my casino. You are not.
I would never step one foot in your casino.
I will give you every comp at the White
Let's just relax. And just to confirm something to you, Mr. Foley, your team has more French Canadian players than the Montreal Canadiens. We're going to move on to the final portion of this segment. Look, spirits are high. We're excited. What we're going to do now is make our declarations of which one of these teams is going to win and in how many games. Now, I will go first. I'm the host of this show. It's probably no secret that I am rooting for the Montreal Canadiens. I'm also a logical man, and logic would dictate that the Canadiens have no chance in this series, but logic has been defied for 2 straight rounds. The Vegas Golden Knights have a lot of firepower, just like the Toronto Maple Leafs did, and the Montreal Canadiens dispatched the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, the Vegas Golden Knights are big, but so are the Winnipeg Jets, once again dispatched by the Montreal Canadiens. This will not be an easy series. I am selecting the Canadiens to win this series in 7 games. Mr. Foley, would you like to make your prediction? I think it's pretty clear how you're going to predict, but I'd like to hear your opinion.
James, you might be surprised, but I did have Toronto Maple Leafs to win the Cup in a wild card round, but I have been informed that is impossible.
Correct,
so I will probably choose my very own.
You're going to probably choose your own team. All right.
I'm still thinking about it, but I think they're going to win in a 2.5 game sweep because they're going to do so well. The Montreal Canadiens are going to go cry home to their moms.
Okay, so
their mamas.
that is our bold prediction of the night, that the Knights are going to win in 2 games in a 7-game series. Dimitri, the floor is yours for the final prediction.
Well, James, I try to make these predictions as unbiasedly rather, as possible. Vegas is a very, very good team. This is undoubtable. They are where they are because they play good hockey. With that said, Montreal found their raison d'être.
Mr. Foley, please.
Please, Mr. Foley. Montreal found their raison d'être in the first series, and then they solidified it in the second. They know what they are, and they're coming strong. So better be careful, Vegas, because I think Montreal is walking away straight to the finals in 6. And you've heard it straight from the horse's mouth right here, James.
Okay.
I ought to know. No, this is not okay,
James. I am to win this series. Mr. Foley,
sorry,
I
Mr.
will
Foley.
not stand for this, James. This is rude that you invited me on this show to be accosted by this. You know what I ought to do. Okay,
well, Mr. Foley has stormed out of the set. I think he's coming to us from an affiliate in Nevada. Well,
you son of a bitch.
Well, maybe we shouldn't talk about hockey on this show anymore, right? I tried to get Bill Foley Sr., who's an old man with white hair, and we got his son, Bill Foley Jr., that I thought was just going to be a chip off the old block. I don't know what's going to happen with that studio that Dimitri just built. Well, look, if that doesn't get you excited for the Canadiens' entry into the 3rd round against the Vegas Golden Knights, I don't know what will. Hold on. Yes. I will relay that message. Okay, I'm being told that Dimitri is fine, and Bill Foley Jr. has had a heart attack, and we'll have information on that later on. I guess that profuse sweating was a precursor to something worse. Folks, that is our show tonight. We will see you this coming Monday if the stream, if Twitch, if our broadcaster, and of course, if God will allow it. I want to thank Monika Schneider. I want to thank Ariel Drew. I have to thank Andrew Louchuck. I want to thank Dimitri Kyres. I want to send my thoughts and prayers to Bill Foley Jr. And I want to thank you for spending your Friday with us. Have yourself a good weekend. We'll see you in a couple days. Until then, I am James. You are you. We were here. Good night, goodbye, farewell, and be well.